Hey everyone, I'm Alberto. I'm the general manager here at Owl Central Games, and I wanted to share some of my thinking about the culture and community around Magic the Gathering here in our store. I've been doing a lot of really critical and creative thinking and intentional thinking about how we should be designing our weekly events and beyond for Magic the Gathering here specifically at our game center in Millersville, PA. And I wanted to share my thinking, share a broader announcement about what our intentions and goals are for building Magic the Gathering community here in our store. And the thing that I've been reflecting on that is helping to inform some of my ideas that I'm going to share with you now is that Magic is huge. Magic is such an unbelievably big game with 30 years of history to the point where there isn't a Magic community anymore. It's not a singular community. It's not even a game in which players who play one format versus players who play another can even relate to each other necessarily in all cases. You have the massive explosion that is Commander, EDH, and there's so many new players being introduced to the game through Commander-related content and online spaces. And then you have your competitive 60 card communities, and then you have that one place where everybody comes together, like pre-releases, where you have the people who don't make it out to weeklies, but will come out when a new set comes out just to play with the new cards. You'll have your 60 card competitive tournament grinders and your casual Commander players in the room at the same time, playing with the same cards. But you know, that only happens every 2 to 3, 4 months. And so in the meantime, the way people engage with Magic on a day-to-day basis can be very, very different. And I realized that Magic the Gathering isn't just one community, it's a number of communities put together, and we're trying to figure out what the best way to serve all of them is. And so that has definitely informed my thinking on how I want to design our Friday night Magic event offerings. But I'm going to kind of run through what all of our event offerings are, what the ideas behind them are, and who I'm trying to serve as we design all these different events for Magic. Because if you look at our calendar, we have Magic 4 or 5 days a week at the store. We have special events designed around Magic, and those special events for Magic are designed to cater to different segments of the community too. So, you know, on Wednesday nights, we do midweek Modern, and we have our core group of 12 to 25 Modern players that come out every single week to play competitive 60 card Modern, who, you know, all probably play MTGO and play in RCQs and 2Ks when the Modern format is available, stuff like that, right? We also have a core group of people who enjoy the Pioneer format. And those people can range from on the more casual side to people who are grinding regional championship qualifier seasons, but that also have interests in different formats like Modern or like Booster Draft or like Commander. And then we also support the casual Commander community. And so we have casual Commander on Wednesday nights, we have Commander all day Sundays, and Commander's our largest in-store play community. So we're already looking at 3 different communities that have different needs and have different goals and need different events, right? So as I think about all of that, I realize over the last few months that Friday Night Magic itself has had a bit of an identity crisis. Friday Night Magic can't just serve one Magic community that is let's get everybody together, because you know, the 60 card competitive gamers want one thing, the casual gamers want another, the Commander players are kind of left out of the whole standard Pioneer draft sort of thing. So what do I do to ensure that Friday Night Magic becomes, you know, what it used to be, right? The place where, you know, people just come to gather and celebrate the game that they love, right? In thinking about that, and as we've returned to more and more in-store play programs for Magic, and the community is growing in different directions, in different ways. Organized play is being better supported by Wizards of the Coast through DreamHack here in North America with regional championship qualifiers. WPN stores are getting things like store championships and special promos associated with those types of events. I've realized that there is a vacuum, like a gap as far as serving new players who are new to Magic. And we all know that the platform in which more people are engaging with Magic the Gathering is Magic Arena. Like, there are supposedly millions upon millions of players who play on Magic Arena, and the most popular formats on Magic Arena are Booster Draft and Standard. And those players who are downloading Arena and playing Magic for the first time and going through the tutorial and learning how to play the game, they don't have an easy jump off point from learning the game and being new to the community and then figuring out how to join an in-store play community. The options are you dive deep super hard into a competitive 60 card format, or you learn how to play Commander, which is completely different than what you learn how to do on Arena. And so as Magic is really starting to like pick up steam in in-store play, like in the post-pandemic era, if it's even safe to call it post-pandemic, as organized play is really starting to form again around local stores, the one area in which I feel like we are not serving that I want to actively begin serving is how to create a bridge for new players to join our community while feeling included, while feeling welcome, without feeling disconnected from like, well, I'm not investing $1,000 into a deck and grinding the regional championship qualifier season. I just want to play, some like budget Standard with some people, and I don't have anywhere to do that. So that's like a weird like mini crisis that I feel like local stores are dealing with. Is like, how do you actually bring new players into communities that are so well formed, so entrenched, people who've been playing these games or investing in this hobby for years and years? How do you then introduce new people into that community effectively? So that's the question that I kind of pose to everyone. That's the question that I think people at the store level should be thinking about. And that's the question I've been just like losing sleep over sometimes over the last few months, is how do we create a welcome, inclusive environment where new players can join the in-store paper play community? That's the hurdle. And I think it behooves all store owners, all tournament organizers to figure out that equation. And I have something in mind that I'm going to try here, and I'm open to hearing any ideas, any feedbacks on what we can incorporate. But beginning this month, Friday Night Magic is going to be like kind of a mirror to what's available to new players on Magic Arena. So that's Booster Draft and Standard. When you come out on a Friday night, it does not matter your skill level, it does not matter how invested you are into the hobby. You could have just finished playing the tutorial and decided that you love Magic and want to pick up some Magic cards. Friday Night Magic needs to be a place where you can be brand new to the game, you can show up, and you can know that you'll be included. You can know that you're going to find people to be in community with. You can know with confidence that you can join the community and you won't be excluded because you don't know what you're doing, or you're just a novice who's always just going to get beat up by the more experienced players, or you're going to be a burden on the community because you don't know how to play as well as other people. Like, that is something that on the local level we have to figure out how to overcome and get away from. And so I guess this is a bit of a call to action also to all of the entrenched Magic community members who want to continue seeing the game grow in the ways you enjoy playing the game. There is a disconnect between being like an entrenched modern player and wanting to come and play like a casual Standard event on a Friday night. The incentives aren't there. But if we don't have new player acquisition programs in an environment for new people to be introduced to 60 card Magic and then get as deeply entrenched in the hobby over time as you are, then how many new modern players are we going to have in 5 years or in 10 years? And so I just want to make sure that we are stewarding new players into 60 card formats, into in accessible ways, in sustainable ways, and that we're creating an environment that can include everyone. And that isn't just like, well, go play Commander with the Commander players, because new players to Magic might not be interested in Commander, but that might be the only community that's actually offering them welcome or access. So I want to make sure that everyone has options when they learn Magic the Gathering. I want to make sure that everyone knows when you can go to a store to play and feel included. So I guess that's kind of my rant, that's my ramble, that's what I've been thinking about. And all these thoughts aren't like perfectly well formed. I'm like kind of going off the cuff here and trying to share my ideas, trying to share my thoughts and, you know, my concerns. And these are the challenges that I'm trying to overcome here. So that said, you've probably already seen a number of announcements that we've made through our Discord or through our email communications and through our socials, that we are making some adjustments to our events calendar around Magic. Magic is still like hands down the biggest game in our store, but the community has so many aspects to it and so many different needs. Figuring out how to meet them all is definitely the challenge of the time. So again, our modern community is locked in on Wednesdays. A change that I'm making to Friday is that we're moving Pioneer to its own night in the hopes that it can create a new foundation for itself so that it can rebuild its player base. So Pioneer is going to be on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock. So the 60 card competitive formats are going to have their own dedicated night every week. Modern on Wednesdays, Pioneer on Thursdays. Friday is the casual inclusive night where no matter what level of play, you can come out and you can play Booster Draft and Standard. And there's going to be a free entry option for the Standard format. So literally, you played in pre-release, throw your pre-release together, or your pre-release deck together, go through some bulk, add some chaff to your deck and make a 60 card deck and just play whatever. Like, just hang out and play Magic. If you're a new player, know that that's something that you can do here. If you're curious about 60 card formats and you're a Commander player, know that there's a safe place for you to just go and try things out. And also, the nice thing about Booster Draft being a really concrete community here at our store, we fire drafts every single Friday night at 6 o'clock, like without fail. The fail-safe is if there aren't enough people that want to play Standard, you can at least draft together and build your collection through drafting and then throw a Standard deck together from your draft chaff. It might take some time to build up a Standard community, but I think that they are essential to Store's ability to continue bringing new players into the game. Even though from a competitive standpoint, Standard might not seem as accessible or as affordable, from the budget standpoint, you can play Standard with literally whatever. So I'm hoping that the open-endedness of Friday nights brings in more players. Now that said, I will remind you, we also have a thriving Commander community. It's our biggest in-store play community. That's Wednesday nights and all-day Sundays. And through our special events, I am actively trying to serve different segments of our community. So our special events include official organized play programs through Wizards of the Coast. So that's the regional championship qualifiers. We host 2 regional championship qualifiers every season because we're a WPN premium store. So those types of events will occur on Saturdays. I'm also reintegrating the store championships events onto select Saturdays for each release season. So March of the Machine will have an associated store championship. And what I'm going to be doing for store championships is making it a limited event. And I'm going to make it as cost accessible as possible. So our store championship is going to be like the step up from our weekly locals, but a step down from the regional championship qualifier competitive level. So store championships will be like a really accessible entry fee. You just play sealed deck with a cut to top 8 draft. You show up, the cards are there for you. You don't need to own anything. And you just like play in a Swiss round tournament with a cut to top 8 and get to experience, you know, a taste of what competitive Magic can look like, even if you're new to the game or a novice, right? So I'm trying to create different levels of special events for Magic. Included in that calendar is also we've been running more Pauper events. Pauper has been extremely well received. It is also a very budget-friendly way of playing the game. Plus, we will be continuing to revisit things like Commander Bash, an all-day Commander celebration. So that's everything on my mind. That's everything that I'm working on. And I am actively trying to make sure that we are serving every single segment of the Magic community and making sure that everybody knows when and how they can engage with the hobby, and that you know that you can do it here in our store, right? So that's it. I don't think that I can ramble any further than that. And Dan's probably already mad at me for the amount of editing he's going to have to do on this video. So thank you to Dan for helping with all of the communications work, all the social media strategy that we have, running our Discord server. I just sit around and talk about ideas. Dan does all the actual work. So thank you for being patient and letting me talk to the camera today, Dan. Thank you for all of you who have taken the time to watch this message. I'm totally open, wide open to feedback. I love feedback, and I love hearing people's ideas about what you think the challenges are for fostering new player communities, for 60 card formats, and for making F&Ms be as successful as we'd like them to be. So shoot me a message on Discord, join our Discord server and DM me. You can email admin@owlcentralgames.com. I'm very easily reachable, and I'm more than happy to hear your feedback and suggestions. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our message today, and I hope that I see you in our game center soon.